This episode of the All About Nothing podcast is brought to you by Everplay Sports and Social. Look, for 10 years, I have absolutely enjoyed the time that I have spent every week playing in leagues that have been brought to us by Everplay Sports and Social, whether it's kickball, softball, bowling. Everything they do is just fantastic, and the way that they do it is just absolutely great. So I need you to know, right now they are signing up for their late fall leagues. Monday indoor volleyball over at Tri-City Leisure Center in West Columbia. That's going to be 5 weeks. You got Tuesday sand volleyball at Pollywogs. It's another 5-week session. Wednesday flag football, 7 weeks at B Avenue. Leagues are signing up right now through October 8th. That is the deadline. So make sure you go to everplaysocial.com, because if you don't, you'll miss out. Go do it now. You will have a great time. You get to be with friends, you get to meet new people, and you get to participate in sports that we did as kids. So go do it, everplaysocial.com. Proud to be a sponsor of the All About Nothing podcast. All right.
We got no music.
Yeah, well, you're correct. Oh, it was nothing? Nothing was playing.
No. We got the commercial.
Oh, okay.
But
right.
the standard waiting music, countdown, spinning logo, all that.
Yeah, I gotta try and work. I have to work those ads in there. You know, I made promises.
I see. You're being kept hostage.
Good. Yeah. Well, Portland. Good morning, everybody. This is the All About Nothing podcast, kind of daily show. I'm Barrett Gruber, host of the All About Nothing podcast with Zach King. You can find me across all of social media at Barrett Gruber. Also, Bill Kimler is here. He is the host of Black, White, and Blue in the South with Dr. Jamil Brooks. You can follow him.
Good morning.
At politicalbillsc. How are you this morning?
Super fantastic.
That's awesome. Do you have a good weekend?
I'm trying to remember what my weekend was. Yes. Okay. I had an emotionally wrecking weekend. I mean, in a good way. Went with Jamil and my wife up to Greenville, and we saw the musical Come From Away, which is the story of 9/11 and how almost 40 planes full of hundreds of passengers to the tune of 7,000 people total landed in Gander, Newfoundland.
Yeah.
They were diverted from overseas flights and landed in a strange little town, doubled the population overnight. And it was the story told from both perspectives, the people in the plane and the strangers, and then also the hospitality extended to them by the common Gander folk. And then the bonds that formed in the midst of all the tragedy, the many human tales. I was in tears the whole time. I mean, to be honest with you, it triggered a lot of emotions of 9/11. They hit it raw. They covered all the emotional spectrum, from laughter and comedy to love to tragedy. It was probably one of the best things I've ever witnessed.
Wow.
I can't recommend it enough. We were supposed to be at the final show on Sunday afternoon, but they extended it for 4 more because the response has been so positive. Every one of them is sold out. If you get a chance to see Come From Away, the musical, I don't like musicals. That's not my thing. My jam is not musicals. I'd rather see a play. I'd rather see a movie. They should, why sing when you can say it? It just seems like a big fluffy waste. But this one in particular, it was so moving, so wonderful. It really made the weekend. It made the year. It was one of the highlights of the year, easily.
That's really cool. Because the episode that you all did about that was fantastic. I mean, it was months and months ago. I did not realize that the actual showing of the play or the musical was coming up soon. My assumption was that it was way back.
Oh, way in the future. Yeah.
But that's really cool. Yeah. If it comes to Columbia, I think I'll try.
And then the people we interviewed, Carolyn and Philip Dennis, who were on one of those planes and were diverted to Gander. They were, after the show, they got on stage and did a little Q&A with the moderator. And to be honest, really we did a better job of the questions, to be honest with you. I mean, I know it's not a competition, but we did a better job.
You're not wrong though. It was a fairly emotional weekend. I think that if you turned on the news at any point in time, every time I got an alert on my phone, it was a new mass shooting this past weekend.
Right.
And I just want to give some of the details because it's horrifying. So Saturday alone, there was a shooting in Alexandria, Louisiana, as well as a shooting in Raleigh, North Carolina, and another shooting in Southport, North Carolina. 4 victims in Alexandria, 4 victims in Raleigh, 3 dead, 8 additional victims in Southport, North Carolina. Sunday, there was 1 dead, 3 additional victims in New Orleans, Louisiana, 2 dead and 8 victims after a man ran his truck into a congregational hall of an LDS church in Michigan. And I think that number's actually up now. There's 4 dead in the shooting. And what truck? I don't even know what you would call that. He used his truck to try and take out a wall in the church, and then opened fire on the church, set the church on fire.
He had IEDs in his truck that he made, explosives. So it's incredible.
Yeah. And then an additional 2 dead, 5 additional victims in a shooting in Eagle Pass, Texas. Of course, Eagle Pass, Texas, we know because that was where there was the National Guard was sent by President Trump earlier this year to try and prevent. They put up barbed wire, basically some of the most intense barbed wire that resulted in the drowning death of a woman and her child in the El Paso in the Rio Grande River because of the cuts that she sustained from the barbed wire that they had strung up across. So far this year, as of this past Sunday, 11,096 deaths, 174 of them are children, 759 are teenagers, 2,195 injuries as a result of gunshot wounds, 372 children, 2,139 teenagers. Of those, all of those, 30,000 deaths and injuries, only 868 of them were the result of someone defending themselves. So I imagine
I know you have a point here somewhere. I'm failing to see it.
Meanwhile, Trump played golf.
Trying to read between the lines here. What are you trying to say?
I am trying to say that we have of all of the emergencies in this country, the gun situation is one that is still not being handled because even in my notes I put in here, Donald Trump played golf this weekend during all of that. So we have
these well-trained ICE officers there to defend good old Americans. You see that one ICE officer who just waved his gun at civilians, tried to stuff it into his pants. It fell out of his pants during a scramble. You see all that?
That was a long video too. What that looked like one of the most, at one point the officer is screaming at the crowd or someone that's shooting video of him. Do you want to take him home? Do you want to take him home? Is that an option at this point? Is it possible to excuse this person from whatever it is that you're slamming his face into the ground for? I mean, I get the guy was resisting and ultimately,
he was face down in gravel. I don't know how much more you could resist. Right. And there were 10 officers jumped on top of him. Yet this guy felt like he could wave his gun around at the unarmed civilians, and then do it improperly, then lose his gun. I mean, these are fireable offenses, but they've just taken these quote unquote alpha male keyboard warriors and dressed them up in uniform and masks and said, "Here you go." There's no training.
I saw Dean Cain on Piers Morgan's show with Tim Miller, who Tim Miller, of course, used to be a Republican, I guess, a campaign strategist, and he became, I guess he's not a Democrat strategist, but he is on MSNBC pretty frequently. But he was on Piers Morgan, and the two of them were going back and forth. Dean Cain claiming that he is not yet an ICE officer, and Tim Miller asking him, what are the requirements to be able to arrest somebody? What are the rights of someone who you're as an ICE agent arresting? Dean Cain couldn't answer any of these questions because he's not a keyboard warrior. I don't imagine that his fingers have ever, stretched across a keyboard. But, Dean Cain used to be Superman. I protected Superman once. But Dean Cain, as this, he's an ultra MAGA, extreme right-wing guy. he came out and supported Donald Trump because he saw there was a hook and he could attach himself to it. So good job, Dean Cain. I'm sure that's made.
Does that mean you'll be interviewing him at the next Comic-Con and become really friendly with him? Is that how this works?
Man, let me tell you what. I saw a video of Randy Quaid, and I talked about it with Zach this past weekend. Have you seen this video of Randy Quaid?
I haven't seen the video. I heard you talk about it, but I haven't watched the video.
Well, it's disturbing. For one, as friendly and as kind as
your best buddy, Randy Quaid, your new
Quaid.
friend, your new Christmas card list member, Randy Quaid. Yes.
As nice and friendly as he was, some of the things that he was saying in that video just wretched about Jimmy Kimmel and you know, what a piece of shit. But like, and then as the camera pans down, you see this open box of milk toys, milk bones,
Right.
and you got to imagine. I mean, the punchline is right there. Randy Quaid eats milk bone dog treats. He has to.
So what's the real Randy Quaid? Is it the really friendly guy that, you know, what you were able to chat with for many minutes, or is it the guy in the car rambling away in a hateful manner?
The guy in the car rambling away in a hateful manner is the real Randy Quaid. That's, you know, because that's the person that was described to me before we met him. That was the videos I had seen of him when he did the vandalizing and then had to run off to Canada so he couldn't face prosecution here in the United States. You know, those were the things that he did. And then he came back because Donald Trump was elected, and he knew that, or I guess he thought that now that Donald Trump's elected, it's okay for ultra right-wing MAGA people to go and vandalize things and destroy stuff. Because if you do it and then you claim loyalty to President Trump, then, you know, you're fine. You're
before you saw the most recent video and you know, right after you had interviewed him, did you feel like, oh, maybe the guy interviewed is the real guy, and you know that other is a character or an exaggeration or what have you? Like, how were you feeling after the interview prior to seeing the video?
Well, I never got to interview him; just only got to speak with him a few times. But
True.
I honestly, I thought he was just I thought he was just a regular person. You know, I thought that maybe the act was when he talks about politics, that it was more disingenuous than anything else. And ultimately that's what I get from a lot of people, that like, I have neighbors that fly MAGA flags. I have neighbors that fly Confederate flags in their yards. And when they walk past your house and you're outside doing something, they're friendly. They say, good morning. You know, how are you today? Good. How are you? Fantastic. What's going on? What do y'all do? What's new? You know, but then they go back into their house where they continue to fly this flag of hatred. You also have neighbors who have pled guilty to distributing graphic material about children. But at least that person was consistent. They weren't friendly when they came to your house. That is true. That guy never put on an act. He was a shithead. He was a shithead from the very beginning. You know, they go back into their house, and then, or you drive past their house and you're just reminded, here is this symbol of, not necessarily, I don't always look at the MAGA flag and Make America Great Again slogan as being something that is representative of a movement. I see it as it is their attempt at
well, how about F your feelings flags? Is that representative of a movement?
No. These are.
How about Confederate flags? Do you think MAGA flags and Confederate flags have the same value, weight, meaning, etc.?
It's all about trying to intimidate. It's an extremely aggressive, passive aggressive way of trying to intimidate, because none of those have any meaning. The Confederate flag is the Confederate flag you see everywhere is a representation of what the 1st Virginia Field Army was. And it got stretched or it was a naval flag or something like that, but it wasn't a representation of the entire Confederate military. It isn't the Sons of Liberty never actually adopted that flag as their own, as far as I've read, as you know, like as a sign of their heritage. So this isn't a flag. This is a flag simply that gets an emotional response out of people. So that's the one that sells the best on Amazon or at Walmart or wherever people are buying it from. The MAGA flags don't mean anything. I see people still flying their 2024 Trump flags. For what? He's elected. Is it just because you spent $78 on a flag that now you have to continue to fly until I have a Kamala Harris flag? She lost, but can I still fly it because I spent, $22?
Do you have the same opinion about my Philadelphia Eagles flag? I mean, they're 4-0. They're top of the league. Haven't lost a game in over a year. I mean,
that's true. No, I don't. I fly my Falcons flag. But not as a sign of intimidation.
So that's the lost cause Valley cry.
They're 2-2, sir. There are 13 more games this season. I'll have you know. I get your point. Yes, but I don't, those specifically MAGA, Confederate flags, those things, I don't see those as a source of pride. I see, because these people hide in their house, or when they do come out of their house, they walk around as if they aren't flying these flags. They treat their neighbors kindly, but then they go back into their house, and you're reminded when you drive past their house, just look at the hate here. This is something that Donald Trump would, I don't know, jerk himself off to. It's such a weird thing. I don't see the Falcons as being.
I'm sorry. You need to apologize for sticking that image in my head. That did more to wake me up than all the coffee in the world could. I'm stuck now.
I sincerely
You might as well go solo because my brain is fried thinking about that.
I sincerely apologize. We both know he can't reach and or sustain, or that's how he's bruising his hands, maybe, potentially.
True.
Fucked hard. Anyway, Donald Trump did order Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, also Nobel Prize still pending for Donald Trump, just so you know.
Has Hegseth met with the military yet?
I think that's today.
That's today? Because I remember we made some predictions last week as to what might happen.
Yeah. Well, I didn't
on the air, I said it would just be a poof of air, that like it'd be a big nothing, and then various reports are somewhat confirming it, that it's just a rally the troops speech, right?
You're right. Yeah, and like some of what I've seen about it seems to indicate that, because I think they said that Trump is going to make a surprise visit.
Right.
Yeah, that's the one where it's kind of like, this is just a photo op.
Literally, so if you're generals or leadership and you have tasks to do around the world, how pissed off would you be that you were dragged in to hear a Fox News host give you a speech about combat and the military persona?
I would not have good things to say back to my brigades and my units when I get back to the other side of the planet.
Now, over the weekend, I texted you a conspiracy theory. So, on the air, I said it'd be a big nothing, but I sent you what I invented. I created my own conspiracy theory over the weekend. I saw some articles come out, and I linked 3 articles together. The first article was this military convention that's happening, the secret military convention, not so secret. The second was how Denmark was their airports were being overrun by drones. Like they were having all these strange drones appear at airports all across the country. They couldn't identify them. They even ruled out it was the Russians. For some reason, they came out and says, no, we don't believe that this is Russia. We still don't know who these drones are. And then the whole Greenland annexation thing that Trump wants to do.
Yeah.
Now, link those 3 together. Do you think maybe that they're planning a surprise invasion of Greenland and they're surveying Denmark's air capabilities?
Well, Gerard Butler's got a movie coming out, Greenland 2.
Oh, the first one was fantastic, I thought.
First one was fantastic. I'm afraid that the second one, just based on the trailer that I've seen, may have jumped the shark. But maybe Donald Trump thinks that Greenland.
I don't know. I like the trailer.
Did you? I just had this fear about this idea that, because of the end of the last one, they open the gates and you see this bird flying. And then was 5 years later or something like that.
But this is the reality of a post-apocalyptic world. I think very few movies go down that path. They usually stop at the disaster and then, that's it. But this, to carry it forward, I think is a fascinating premise.
I wonder if they had that plan. Anyway, okay, so not about Greenland. Could this be an invasion of Greenland, or the if it is, I feel like with this administration, the likelihood is that they would forget about the planning part and just launch right into whatever it is that they're doing. This doesn't feel like a buildup. It doesn't. I don't know.
They are
feel like it.
seating. They are one congressperson away from being seated, who's already been elected, but
Yep.
Mike Johnson refuses to seat her.
Yep.
They are one seat away from having the votes needed to force a release of the Epstein files.
Yeah.
You don't think that he would invade Greenland to avoid discussion on that?
I think that he would do anything he possibly could, but have you seen the video? Have you seen the threat from a gentleman on TikTok? And I don't know that it's real, but he is threatening to release Mike Johnson's Grindr profile as well as Mike Johnson's IP address to prove that the IP address links to the Grindr profile links back to Mike Johnson. And Grindr, of course, is an app for homosexuals to meet, hookups. It's kind of like Tinder, but that's the intent, is to meet up. And this guy is inferring, or is insinuating, that Mike Johnson has a Grindr profile because Mike Johnson dabbles to the left of his right. And
so does that mean that Mike Johnson's son monitors his Grindr activity? Remember, they've got this pact where they monitor each other's internet usage.
First of all, let me ask you, did you actually believe that Mike Johnson and his son share a connection on the amount of porn that they watch?
Do I believe it? That's what Mike Johnson said. This wasn't something that was invented.
I understand that, but I feel like Mike Johnson's full of shit. Like, I do not believe that he shares that with his 12-year-old or 13-year-old kid, which, by the way, should potentially put him in the same range as RJ May.
I think the kid's older, but I could be wrong. It's just one of those weird facts that I just didn't want to dive too deep into.
10 years ago. Let's just assume he was doing it 10 years ago. And the whole lie has been propagated for 10 years that he shares his porn addiction with his son.
No, that's not what happened. They monitor. They didn't share addictions. They monitored usage to prevent addictions, man. What else was a spin and a half?
There's an attachment. They get some sort of glee out of this.
Lord.
Okay, I'm done.
Are we still on the air here?
Yeah, we're still on the air. The whole thing was absurd to me. I think Mike Johnson's full of shit. I think that ultimately, whatever it is that Mike Johnson's trying to prevent the public from knowing about him is something that Donald Trump does know. And that's sort of the reason that we have so many congressmen and so many people in the Republican Party that are just so afraid to do anything to try and restore the bounds of power that Congress has. That Donald Trump will just fly off the handle and release something. I mean, we just found out this weekend that Elon Musk is potentially in the Epstein files. Like,
but go back a bit. This whole Epstein files thing. Do you not remember that this originated from an Elon Musk tweet?
Yeah.
Like, we had known about Epstein, for many years, but it wasn't until Elon Musk and Trump had a falling out, and Elon Musk came out and tweeted, "Trump is in the files." That was the start of everybody's renewed interest in this, that it originated from Musk. Now, if Musk was in the files, do you think he would have released that tweet? It doesn't make any sense. Like, why would he lob that ammunition over, that fireball over, knowing that there's a fireball coming right back at him? That just seems weird.
I think because sometimes angry people do irrational things, and everyone, I've
got an ex-wife that could attest to that. Go ahead.
I don't think that when I'm trying to think of how to word this, because I've been really careful about Mike Johnson and what I've said about him lately. I think that Elon Musk potentially was angry about the fact that Donald Trump, who is louder and more vocal than Elon Musk, that he has the strength of the presidency behind him, can say things about Elon Musk that ultimately could be completely not true, that there could be no basis of fact behind them, but because Donald Trump says them, there's 22% of the population in the United States believes every single thing he says. Donald Trump could say that he went to the moon, and I guarantee you his MAGA supporters would be like, fuck yeah, he went to the moon. Look at the pictures of him in astronaut suits. I mean, this is, but he can say things
he could say anything ridiculous.
Yes.
I mean, I don't know, just make up something nutty like Tylenol is poisonous, right? He could say that, and all of his followers will just immediately rush as if that was a credible fact.
But Elon Musk says something, you get rather than getting all of support, you automatically get a lot of people that don't believe it, that they will disagree, or they will say that this is just Elon Musk being Elon Musk. This dude's a lunatic. Like they don't equate the two. Donald Trump and Elon Musk is being virtually the same people. Elon Musk isn't some super genius that invented SpaceX. He didn't invent Tesla. He didn't invent Neuralink. These are things that he bought into. Like he is he intelligent about how the money goes? Yes and no, because he also bought Twitter for $34 billion, which was an insane purchase, but he had to do it because he said, he would.
Just saw a report that Threads is about to overtake Twitter in terms of daily activity.
Way to go, Meta.
Yeah.
Okay, it feels okay. Now that I've said that out loud, it feels like I may have just signed some.
I don't know who you're rooting for here, but go ahead.
It was a bad idea. Oh, I wish I could take that one back. But yeah, I like some of the features on Threads. I wish that I had more characters available to be able to write on
Threads has the largest amount of characters available of all the platforms. I mean, except for like Instagram and Facebook, where you can do long form. Threads has, more than Twitter, more than Blue Sky, more than many of the other mini bloggers.
No, you're
so
right.
I've always liked Threads' limit.
Yeah. I do run out of space on nearly every post, and I have to back out.
It's not that I run out of space. It's that you use too many words to get your point across. So let's put the blame where it belongs. Don't blame the platform. Blame the content creator.
That is true. I did want to mention, because I started mentioning it, but Donald Trump is deploying the National Guard, or Donald Trump has ordered that Pete Hegseth deploy the National Guard and military apparatus to Portland, Oregon. Why, you ask? Well, they're not under attack from Vancouver. There are no aliens. The physical artisans are not fighting the print artisans. So why? It's because there was a protest outside of an ICE detainment facility. And that's it. There are webcam views of Portland, Oregon that people have been putting up over the course of the last 4 days that don't show smoke in the distance or buildings on fire. The description of Portland, Oregon that Donald Trump has given is one that is incredibly absurd and a desperate move to try and justify sending troops into yet another blue city. I don't get it.
At this point, I have to wonder why people are obeying the orders. I mean, if you're in the National Guard and you think that this is a justified action, then quit the National Guard and join ICE. That's where you belong.
Right.
I would think you joined the National Guard with a higher purpose. I've known many people who have served, and they seem like they were there truly to serve the country. But when you see that Trump, who's a coward, is more comfortable sending military troops against fellow Americans and is kowtowed by Russia and China and other, North Korea he's best friends with, and won't deploy anything there, you have to know that that's wrong. You have to. And why do you go along with it?
Yeah. I completely agree. Yeah, if you're gonna do it anyway, just resign your post with the National Guard, join ICE, and get that $50,000 bonus they're giving away.
Because you're going to end up, because being that there's no crime out there and there's nothing to control, you're going to end up on litter detail. You're going to be putting mulch down, and is that what you expected to do with your military career?
It's what the federal troops in Washington, D.C. for the most part were doing, is they were mostly going around and picking up trash and putting it into the bins on the mall. So, yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what happens this week. I will be at the State House at the Senate building tomorrow morning for the protest of the total abortion ban. That will be Villardo told me he's going to be there tomorrow as well. There will be
if you see my senator here in Greenwood, Billy Garrett, who's one of the co-sponsors of that bill, if you see him, flip a couple birds my way or his way on my behalf.
On your behalf.
Yeah, don't flip them my way. Flip them his way on my behalf.
You got it. I'm happy to. I'll try and get some footage of the event too, as well. I don't think that I'm not sure that they allow you to bring cameras and whatnot into and I don't know I'll even get into the room. But it's room 105, the Gresset building.
There are cameras allowed in the room. I see people on their phones all the time during these hearings. Now, whether you're allowed to record is another thing, but I don't think they confiscate cameras or your phones.
Yeah. But so that'll be tomorrow. Also, a reminder, the Boardwalk Comic Con is starting this weekend, October 4th and 5th at the Myrtle Beach Convention Center. If you go and you buy tickets at the door, tell them that you the podcast, the All About Nothing podcast sent you. You'll get $5 off those tickets as well.
I thought they would charge you an extra $5. Which way is it again? I must have misheard.
The other way. They'll take $5 off.
Okay.
So $5 off tickets at the door if you mention the podcast. Also, the Hall of Horrors opens this weekend here in Casey, West Columbia. It's at the Casey West Columbia JC's on Walter Price Road.
That's really interesting. Yeah. I've never heard of a Hall of Horrors, and that could be a lot of fun, I think.
Bill, come on down. We'll mic you up when we walk through. I'll walk through with you. I'll stay behind you. That is going to do it for today's show. I want to thank everybody for tuning in. You can follow me at Barrett Gruber and Bill at politicalbillsc across all of social media. You can catch us live on Thursday. We'll be back right here doing this exact same thing.
Will we?
I think
there's always a chance that it might not happen.
I think we will. I have very little doubt. So
we had a podcast recording Saturday afternoon with a local director of several nonprofits in the area. We were talking about nonprofits under the Trump admin and what it was like. Very interesting, but we had a technical glitch occur where none of the video actually recorded. The video recording crashed early in the interview. So when I went to look back at the file, I noticed the file was extremely small. I mean, usually it's several gig, and here it was only like 100 megabytes. And I saw that 5 minutes into the interview, it just stopped recording.
Oh,
no error message, nothing. I actually saw the video, and it wasn't me hitting stop, so I have no idea what happened. But we've got the audio. The audio is fine. I'm in the middle of editing it, but the entire video was lost. And I was like, nothing you can do about that.
It's ironic you would say that, because the last 2 times before this year that I tried to record at the Hall of Horrors, we had audio problems. We literally had to go back and record the entire episode again because none of the audio recorded well. And it's not like it's a haunted, it's just a warehouse that's been utilized for this.
Is it?
Haunted
Is
attraction.
It just a warehouse now? Huh? Right? You introduced the devil in there. Maybe weird things happen.
It's built on Native American soil. I don't know. It's West Columbia. It's Casey. You know what? It could just be toxic. That's what it could be.
True. That's most likely. Right.
All right, everybody. Until next time, you all stay safe, be kind, and keep your hands to yourself. Well, that one flew.